Greetings and welcome to episode 128 of the Words About Gamescast, the weekly video game podcast for Words About Games. .net. Well, not .net, we're just Words About Games. It's been like 100 episodes since I've said .net. Anyway, I'm your host, Amy Alexander. I'm joined this week by Keith Robinson. He's a big deal. He's a big deal around these parts and he knows it.
Yeah.
I told you we'd get a bit out of it. Yeah. I'm not going to mention that this week. It's a one-person show this week, ladies and gentlemen, and others. I'm very confused by the silence. That's why. Because now that I've turned your microphone on Streamlabs, you're now muted.
Oh dear.
Yeah. You're getting quieter and quieter.
Oh dear.
Oh shit! Okay.
This is what professionalism looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
You're getting quieter, I'll turn you up. I've it was my headphone jack. My headphone wasn't in. That's why I couldn't hear you. Right there. And then I just plugged it in as you did the thing.
This is like the fourth bit of technical difficulties that we've had setting up today.
Yeah, but hopefully that just means we all get rid of them setting up.
Yeah.
And, because last week we had about four technical difficulties in the middle. And I'd rather avoid that if we can. Keith, how are you?
All right.
That's good. Last podcast was a bit weird timing wise for when we recorded it to when it came out. Yeah, I had a week. It went well. I'm really happy with it. And now we're just going to talk about video games and the video game related news, which is all super great, as always.
I remember what's like the first three things are on this list, so let's try and remain upbeat as we say them.
I don't know if that would give off the wrong idea about how we feel about them, but we'll see what we can do. Story number one, Telltale Games has all but shut down. This was a weird one because I was literally with you when this started happening. I was sat on that bed behind him while we were hanging out when all this stuff started kicking off. So we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but now we have to talk about it again like we've never talked about it before. This is a statement that went up on Telltale Games' official Twitter, which says, for immediate release, which I'm assuming it was also an email. I haven't checked. Today, Telltale Games made the difficult decision to begin a majority studio closure following a year marked by insurmountable challenges. A majority of the company's employees were dismissed earlier this morning, with a small group of 25 employees staying on to fulfill the company's obligations to its board and partners. CEO Pete Hawley issued the following statement, quote, "It's been an incredibly difficult year for Telltale as we work to set the company on a new course. Unfortunately, we ran out of time trying to get there. We released some of our best content this year and received a tremendous amount of positive feedback, but ultimately that did not translate to sales. With a heavy heart, we watch our friends leave today to spread our brand of storytelling across the games industry," end quote. Telltale will issue further comments regarding its product portfolio in the coming weeks. And yeah, Telltale Games. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No. I mean, normally when people talk about Telltale Games, it's Tom just bemoaning the fact they haven't updated the engine in ages.
Yeah.
I feel like the last thing we talked about was the fact they were just updating their engine, and the fact that Walking Dead had just come out, the last one.
Yeah, that was like the last game on the Telltale story engine. Was going to be The Walking Dead, the final season, which came out 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, and that might be the last Telltale game.
If they get a chance to finish it. I mean, there's 25 people still working there. You have to assume to finish the final season of The Walking Dead. But regardless, this fucking sucks. I mean, The Walking Dead, the first season of The Walking Dead was a masterpiece of an interactive narrative storytelling. and there's been games that they've released that I haven't really liked, but there's also been games that they've released that I fucking loved. So
I mean, I did like read a little bit after you left, and just like those be like, oh, please, tell me this is the plans just come like Wolf Among Us do it. It's like, nah, that's gone.
it's dead. Stranger Things has been cancelled. The Walking Dead season 2 has been cancelled. Telltale's done. Like it seems so.
And it does feel very much out of the blue. I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
if there have stuff in behind the scenes, we haven't heard anything about it.
well, companies like when this happens to a video game publisher, and we're going to talk about this again right after this story, but like a company will be struggling, right? Or like there'll be telltale signs that the company that was not intentional. I didn't do that on purpose. But there's signs that the company like is floundering. But with Telltale Games, like they hired people like last week, like to come and work for them at Telltale. I was getting emails off of them until like Thursday. Like Telltale Publishing had started sending out emails where they were publishing other people's games, and like they was posting GIFs like 3 hours before this news started breaking on various news sites, and then all of a sudden, it was just bam, Telltale's like gone. Like 225 people have just been let go.
I'm trying to remember the last time a publisher disappeared.
A publisher, THQ,
Yeah,
might have been the last
probably.
one.
It's like the last time I can remember even hearing of any sort of business, let alone games publisher, going as quickly with Granger Games.
Oh
And
yeah,
I understand the reason Granger Games disappeared because that so suddenly without any warning, because that was like to do with politics and stuff. But what sort of like political change or like change in tariff or like banking regulation would get rid of like a publisher like Telltale Games? I've got absolutely no idea what could suddenly just click it. So unless they've been dealing with stuff behind the scenes, it's like, oh, just going to be business as normal to everyone, including presumably most of the staff.
I mean clearly, like there was, like I say, there was people who started work there 7 days ago.
Yeah.
Like I've been reading about it on Twitter. Like a bunch of people have been talking about it on Twitter. So there's some theories and some gossip. We might talk about this again next week when we have like more concrete facts, because it is one of those things where again it's just happened, so we don't really have it. There's a lot out there.
It happened on a Friday.
Yeah, and it's happened on a Friday.
From one perspective, it's like, oh, these people don't come in next week. But from our perspective, it's like, we've got to wait like 2, maybe 3 days before we hear anything from one of these 25 remaining people.
Yeah, or one of the 225 people, like, who just don't have a job. Like, apparently they're not getting severance checks. So it seems to be a money thing that's sunk Telltale. Like, the only thing you can say that was a pointer towards this happening was when they restructured the company. Like they referenced it in that statement. They restructured the company like a year ago, where they let go of like, I think, was it like half their staff they let go of? And they were talking about like scaling back and doing fewer projects because like they were just constantly like banging like things out like every month. There seemed to be like 1 or 2 episodes of a Telltale game. But then to go from that to everything's fine to here's The Walking Dead the final season, and we've got things coming up to we're dead now. This is gone.
Yeah.
The dream is over. Like, it's just crazy. It's so crazy. And the final season of The Walking Dead is like a return to form for them as well. Like, but I guess if the sales weren't there, then the sales weren't there. And speaking of the sales not being there, Capcom has shut down its Vancouver studio. So I'm reading this from a story from Kotaku, which is Capcom's main Western studio is being shut down. Employees at Capcom Vancouver, which was primarily known for the Dead Rising series and was already hit by layoffs earlier this year, were told today that the studio is closing. In a statement to Kotaku, a company rep noted that as a result of reviewing titles in development at Capcom Vancouver, Capcom has decided to cancel the development projects at the studio and will concentrate development of major titles in Japan. According to Capcom, 158 people will lose their jobs due to the shutdown. A skeleton crew will remain until January 2019 to finalize closure operations and logistics, the rep said. And then there's history about the studio, which was founded in 2005 and made Dead Rising games. Dead Rising 2, the standalone thing for 2, Dead Rising 3, Dead Rising 4. They were working on Dead Rising 5. And now the studio's gone.
Yeah, this is less of a surprise.
Yes.
And when I actually read what games they are known for, it's even less of a surprise.
Yeah. So that when you talk about the signs that a company or a studio is not doing well, you look at Capcom Vancouver as one of them, because we've talked about them this year on this podcast. That's weird. Oh, sorry, a pop-up came up on my monitor. Just making sure it wasn't on the screen. Because like the story notes, they had like a lot of layoffs at the beginning of the year. They were talking about how they were making Dead Rising 5, but it was scaled back. And on the back of that, Dead Rising 4 did not sell well, whereas every other major game that Capcom is publishing is doing huge gangbusters, breaking records for the company. And I guess they just saw Dead Rising as the odd one out in that regard. Like, they even mention it, they want to focus on their Japanese titles, which, I mean, you would when you've had success with Monster Hunter and Resident Evil. And presumably the Mega Man pre-order numbers must be pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm basing that on nothing but my love for Mega Man.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I don't know, I haven't seen, like, what are the figures, and the back of my mind's going, wait, how would he have pre-order figures? Yeah, there's a lot of people who, like, obviously kickstarted Mighty Number 9 because of their love of Mega Man. So let's hope at least, half of them haven't been, felt so let down that they won't pre-order 11.
Who knows?
Or buy 11 anyway.
Or buy 11.
We're not banned the pre-orders on this podcast.
No, we're not. Pre-orders for anything other than super limited, rare, like special editions with like cool stuff in them. Or consoles, because
I pre-ordered books, which then I don't get.
Yeah, I'm just talking about video games. I pre-order consoles because consoles will inevitably go out of stock on day one. Like, I pre-ordered my PlayStation 4 because I knew I wasn't going to get one otherwise. I mean, again, this one's a little more open and shut. It still sucks tremendously for all the people that work at Capcom Vancouver. And yeah, like, my thoughts are with them. There's a ton of tweets from all sorts of different video game companies out on Twitter. For anyone who is affected, who is obviously now looking for work, like, there's tons of studios hiring, and that's a really awesome thing to see, even in shitty times such as these, when, like, what is it now? Like, nearly 400 people have lost their jobs. It's nice to see the industry rally, and hopefully they'll all land on their feet and make some awesome games somewhere else. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on. Doesn't get any better from here.
It will do soon.
We're getting there. Legendary composer Nobuo Uematsu ceases work due to illness. Nobuo, not Star Wars.
Nobuo
Uematsu, the composer behind a number of Final Fantasy games, Chrono Trigger, and a host of other major RPGs in the past 30 years, has announced that he is ceasing his current work due to health problems. Uematsu wrote about it in his blog, stating that he has been affected by a disease for a few years that has progressed to the point where he is unable to act at full capability. Rather than do subpar work, Uematsu is taking time to rest and reconsider whether future projects will be doable. The composer declined to name his illness. Well, that fucking sucks too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's an amazingly talented person.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks that whatever shitty disease or illness or condition he has robbed him of the ability to do the one thing that he loves.
He hasn't said he's robbed it from him, he's just reassessing what he's doing. Because I'll just remind you this. I'm not dead. Terry Pratchett came out saying he's got Alzheimer's, saying that. and he produced what, two more Discworld books, a trilogy, a sci-fi trilogy with another author, two books with nothing else to do, and like he was still working on like 8 or 9 different projects when he finally died. It just because like he's ill and he's need to reset stuff, it doesn't mean it's the end of him. It doesn't mean that he's not going to contribute, like keep doing the stuff he loves. It just means he's have to change in the way he's approaching it. So it's not the end of the world. Hopefully, he'll recover a bit. He'll find like a new pace and stuff, and continue to do the work that he loves. So it's not ultimate doom and gloom.
Okay, allow me to rephrase that so I can apparently say the thing that I meant to say. It sucks that this shitty disease, condition, or illness has robbed him of the ability to do his work right now. Is that better?
Yeah, I'm just trying to be like a voice of positivity. That would be the last time, probably.
No, I mean everything you said was cool. It was just like you know what I meant.
Yeah.
I know he's not dead. I just read the story.
The guy ain't dead thing's literally what Dave Pratchett announced Alzheimer's do. I'm not dead.
But I wish him a speedy recovery. I hope that he comes back from this stronger, not just as a composer, but as in his just general day to day life. Keith, it's your favorite topic. 15 European countries and Washington State to examine loot boxes and gambling in gaming. Here it goes. 15 European countries and the United States state of Washington have signed a declaration promising to look into various types of gambling mechanisms attached and adjacent to video games. The countries that signed that declaration are as follows. I'm just going to read the countries, not the people's names that are attached to them. The countries are as follows: Austria, the Czech Republic, France, Gibraltar, Ireland, Isle of Man, Jersey, Latvia, Malta, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Washington State, and the United Kingdom. The goal of this declaration is to examine trading sites first and foremost, such as the gambling sites that plagued Counter-Strike Global Offensive and populate around games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds today. But the signatories also want to look at loot boxes, buying virtual currency for gambling in games, and in-game gambling, though it's not clear how broad the last one could be. While this declaration does not outline anything actionable or punitive at the outset, the intention seems to be clear that gambling agencies are looking into whether these aspects of video games should be under the same regulations as gambling. To avoid this, in Belgium, Blizzard and Valve simply turned the ability to open loot boxes off in the country while operating regularly elsewhere. A more worldwide effort would seemingly curtail that as an easy option. I mean, at least we're not talking about each country doing it one at a time anymore.
Well, the fact that three of the things you read out with the UK, it's like Gibraltar. Wait, hang on a second. Gibraltar and the Isle of Man.
Gibraltar and the Isle of Man, I guess that. Yeah.
I know Gibraltar's like there's a bit that was argument we have with Spain all the time, but it's still kind of under UK law.
I'll take your word.
As is the Isle of Man.
But yeah, all of those places are on the loot box train. Choo choo! It's coming for you, loot boxes. No, but seriously, this is gonna be this time next year. We're still gonna be talking about this.
Yeah.
This is
the
gonna be.
The wheels of government turn slowly.
Yeah.
But they turn.
But they do turn, as evidenced by this news story. I mean, it's cool that they're going to look into especially those actual gambling websites. Like the CSGO Lotto stuff that we talked about last year, and like the stuff that exists with the PUBG stuff. I'm guessing PUBG works in a similar way to CSGO, where you get all your cosmetics.
I think that could be, the final nail in PUBG's coffin if a lot of governments start gonna have to start paying out fines and stuff. That would really, really be the end of PUBG, I think.
I mean, I'd say if it's ever going in that direction, as far as skin sites, I'll call them, because that's where I know them as from CS:GO. As far as skin sites are operating, then they'll just do what Valve did, and they will just swing the hammer and just close as many of them down as they can, as fast as possible. Because obviously PUBG, it's in that weird grey area where PUBG is the game that has the skins, but PUBG doesn't actually operate any of the websites.
Mhm.
So then it becomes about DMCA takedowns and stuff like that. And if it sounds like I know a bit about this, it's because we've been down this road before.
Yes, many times.
Companies never fucking learn.
Many times. Many times. Yeah.
It just keeps happening. I'm interested to see what holiday game will come out this year and be filled with inappropriate loot box gambling. But that's just me. Which company will do a Star Wars Battlefront 2 this year?
Again, I'm being positive. I hope trying to be positive here, but I'm thinking none of them are going full.
No, none of them. Definitely not. No, they're all literally. They're all tripping over themselves to come out and say, we will not have loot boxes in our games. Like, there was one, I don't know if I actually included it. I didn't include it, but the guy from 343 Industries came out and said that about Halo Infinite. It was like, we're not going to have paid for loot boxes in our games. Which was a fair question because they had that card system, I remember, in Halo 5.
I mean, I didn't mind those like war games thing too much.
I don't remember how it worked. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember very much about Halo 5.
It's been a while ago, but I don't remember ever having to pay for them because just like replaying the campaign or like doing multiplayer stuff got you the stuff that like got you the packs anyway. You didn't need to buy them.
My foot's stuck. I've got a tripod under my desk. That's not a euphemism. It's a literal tripod. My foot's stuck on it. Anyway, we will report more on that story as it develops. I'm pretty sure I said that like last August, as far as loot boxes went, and I haven't let you down yet. So, moving on. Here's some good news. Spider-Man sold 3.3 million units in its first 3 days on sale.
1.1 million a day.
Yep. Oh, my Google Docs has decided it wants to go into edit mode, so it's not clicking links. 1 second. See, normally it's a really smooth transition. Spider-Man PS4 is the fastest selling PlayStation first-party game ever. Insomniac's open world Swingathon sold over 3.3 million copies during its first 3 days on sale, Sony said. Spider-Man dethroned Sony Santa Monica's God of War, which was the previous fastest-selling first-party PlayStation game, with 3.1 million sold in its first 3 days. Before that, it was Naughty Dog's Uncharted 4, with 2.7 million sold in the first 7 days. I just wanted to be like, yay, Spider-Man. Like, this is the second time this year that a PlayStation exclusive, like, first-party PlayStation game has become the fastest-selling PlayStation first-party title in history of PlayStation, which is impressive considering there's only been 3 and 2 of them have sold that well.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Insomniac and Sony. It's a hell of a game, so it's very much well deserved. Unfortunately, Keith, you remember when we were talking on the stream last week?
Yeah.
And you mentioned the plea that you put in at the end of your Shadow of the Tomb Raider impressions video. And I said, there's a new story you're really not going to like. Shadow of the Tomb Raider sales down on 2013 reboot.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider's launch week physical sales were down 70% on those of the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot. Lara Croft's latest adventure failed to top the UK chart, held off by another amazing week of sales for PS4 exclusive Marvel's Spider-Man. Of course, Shadow will likely have sold more digital downloads now than 2013's game did. As ever, UK numbers company ChartTrack does not count these. But Shadow also only posted a meager gain in sales on the more recent Rise of the Tomb Raider, which, unlike Shadow, was initially released only for Xbox One.
See, I think we can both say what the main problem with the initial sales was.
I think we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Last week, the week before.
they've done no there's no marketing. I've only
Nobody
been
knows
doing
this game's coming out, or
yeah
nobody knows this game's out now. Like when I made that point originally, which provoked this conversation, when I made that point on Twitter, I called it the wrong name, and nobody
yeah
corrected me for like 12 hours that I'd accidentally called it Rise of the Tomb Raider.
yeah
Like this game just got sent out to die by Square Enix.
yeah
There was like a Gamescom trailer
yeah.
like leading up to launch. Like, wow, brilliant, fantastic. Where's the gameplay? Where's the hands on by
They did
influencers and big sites before the game comes out?
they did that February. They did a hands-on with
Yeah,
like the first part of the game, which you've seen.
which is great, but you need to do that. You can do that in February, like months and months before the game comes out, to start building the hype train leading into like E3 in the summer. But you need to do that before the game, right? Like within a month of the game coming out. You need to
Yeah.
have people have their hands on this game and shout from the rooftops why this game is awesome. And it needs to be adverts. Like YouTube adverts would be nice. Twitch ads would be nice. People, nobody was talking about Tomb Raider
Yeah.
in the run up to the release. And yeah, some of that will have been because everybody was talking about Spider Man, which came out the week before. But like they could have mitigated a lot of that by just telling people that this game was coming out.
The only like thing I've seen like walking around shops and stuff for this game is one stand, like one of those cardboard stands in Sainsbury's. I
Jesus.
haven't I haven't seen like put like posters up or like the proper like cardboard stand up like announcing it was coming out or anything. No, it was a cardboard stand to hold the like boxes for it the
Hmm.
day it came out.
Brilliant.
But I bought this game and three people in the store went, "Oh, when did that come out?" Oh, I had forgotten that this was coming out. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, you know me, Keith.
yeah,
I meticulously keep track of the games that are coming out. I have a spreadsheet. It's color coded by month.
yeah,
And I kept forgetting this game was coming out.
yeah. The the only time I saw like anything saying that this game was coming out was on the Steam store page when I went to load up Two Point Hospital. That's the only place I've ever seen anything saying it was coming out. After the game has come out, when I was doing my impressions write up, I stuck the soundtrack on it from YouTube. Since then, I've started getting adverts for the game because YouTube has like obviously like ticked off all the like marketing sites saying it. This person looked at something about Tomb Raider, and now I'm getting the stuff saying the game's out. Before that, I did not see anything. It was all still Spider-Man.
Yeah. Because you're the number one gaming interest, I imagine, was Spider Man. But YouTube's algorithms are weird like that. Like, you should see some of the videos I got recommended after I watched the Battlefield 5 reveal trailer.
But like, I mean, most of like some of the ads and stuff are like ones I've seen on like when I've been researching stuff for this podcast on other websites, but they only started appearing, replacing other ads after I'd watched the YouTube or listened to the YouTube soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah. I get you. I mean, Square Enix could learn a thing or two from PlayStation and the way they market games.
Yeah,
For better or worse, you will never not know. Like, even if you've never owned a PlayStation in your life, you will probably never not know that there is a PlayStation and first party game coming out when it's coming out.
yeah.
Speaking of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Keith, did you know the ending was changed by the day one patch?
I haven't got the end of what the day one patch is, but I had heard rumors and I deliberately didn't read anything
Yeah.
about them, saying
So,
that players had discovered that the game the ending had been changed at the last minute.
so I'm going to be big because you
Yeah,
haven't finished the game because it's only been
yeah,
a week, and I feel like even though I take the piss out of Tom because he's so far behind on games and but he'll still call spoilers on them, I feel like
yeah,
this is like we're still well within the thing of like it's totally fine. I'm not going to spoil the end of Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
yeah.
Um, but apparently the game shipped with a very different ending, one that referenced a significant character from Core Design's original 1996 Tomb Raider. That ending was changed in a day one patch, so most players would never see it or even realize it existed. Um, So basically, this all kicked off because a user on the Tomb Raider forums called Tombstone asked why nobody was mentioning something that happens at the end of the game. And then when a lot of people replied to that user saying that never happened, that user then replayed the whole game and didn't see that ending. So Square Enix confirmed that the user Tombstone was correct in a message shared through Tomb Raider's official fan site program. During the course of development on Shadow of the Tomb Raider, multiple post-credit scenes were explored. Unfortunately, one of the directions that was considered, but not chosen, was mistakenly included in the game. Day One patch fixes this error, along with many other improvements, whatever.
You get the feeling, and this totally gets me thinking, like, I haven't listened to that because that's the first time I've heard this. You get the feeling that a couple of months, like, out, or maybe like earlier in the year, decided that they weren't going to do any more Tomb Raiders.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, actually, because the scene itself, I've read it, I know what happens in the scene, but the scene itself definitely sets up the next Tomb Raider game.
Yeah.
And it's been removed. But it was removed so close. It was removed because games this big usually go gold about 1 month out from their release.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the Day One patch does. The dev team keeps working from then until the launch day, fixing stuff, doing this, doing that. So, between the game going gold and the Day One patch being uploaded to all of the servers, someone's decided that scene's not going in the game.
Yeah.
The scene that sets up the next Tomb Raider.
This does not surprise me, but again, it comes back to if they'd marketed the game and people remembered it was coming out, maybe sales would have been better.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Spider-Man would have still kicked it all around, but people might have bought it.
Yeah, it was going to get kicked to the curb, but you may have got people who pre-ordered the game not really thinking about when Spider-Man was coming out, or not seeing all the hype for Spider-Man,
or have just decided to buy both.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not the heaviest month as far as games go, so not like next month.
No. Yeah, I had a feeling that like this was going to be a thing that's like that they decided to not continue with this series.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's a bunch of different factors to consider as well. Like Crystal Dynamics
there's always going to be another Tomb Raider game. It just may not be like these Tomb Raider games, because these Tomb Raider games are the original ones.
I mean, Tomb Raider, like, alright, if I take off my facts and figures hat and put on my glittery speculation and rumor hat, like, I'm pretty sure we're not going to see Tomb Raider for a while. You're talking like 5 years before we even get a hint that there's another Tomb Raider game. I feel like they just made this game to shut people up and to give Eidos Montreal something to do, because like Crystal Dynamics made the first 2 games. They're now making the Avengers project, which we don't actually know what that is, despite apparently we're supposed to learn about it this year. So they subbed in, I almost said the B team there, but that would have been derogatory. They subbed in like a different developer to make the final chapter of the defining story of Lara Croft. Which kind of says to me that they did not care. Square Enix, I mean, not Eidos Montreal. I'm sure they put everything they had into the game. But it seems like Square Enix didn't really give a shit.
Anyway,
how? Now I want to put my other hat back on.
But it's had a very troubled.
It's had such a, like, all 3 games have been so troubled. Like, the first one came out and apparently did not meet Square Enix's sales expectations. Then the second one was rescued by Microsoft and got curb stomped by Fallout 4. And then the third one's come out and they haven't marketed it, and they've changed the ending to not hint at the next game, and it's gotten a bit curb stomped by Spider-Man.
I mean, it's like the first game, like, it didn't meet expectations, but did well. Like, there was a lot for Iron Man, which is why Microsoft bought this, like, basically bought and paid for the second one. And then this third one is very much sort of like well, That was the
Shit.
thing. It's like, well, yeah, we'll do a third one,
Yeah.
and then they haven't put that like the full
And
heart
then
and effort
that's
behind
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
It'd be interesting to see what Eidos Montreal actually do next because they just obviously just finished Shadow, and but
Yeah,
Deus Ex is on ice, and
yeah,
I mean they got to work on something, right?
yeah.
Um, I want to know more about this Avengers project too, but we'll see. Anyway, Keith, now for some truly tragic news. PlayStation Vita is officially dead. This time, for reals. For reals, it's dead this time. Starting
Okay.
next year, no, I'm reading the story. You just. Starting next year, PS Vita shipments will stop in Japan, reports Mountain Web. Sony Interactive Entertainment exec Hiroyuki Oda added, "Right now, I'd like you to consider that there is no PS Vita successor hardware." According to Oda, as for a portable game machine, there is no plans for anything after the PS Vita. Just gonna. You do your thing, I'm just gonna bow my head in a moment of silence. It
The
was,
amount of times I've heard people say Vita is dead.
It's actually dead now. Well, you know. I mean, the amount of times I've read stories on this podcast where it was like where people were saying the Vita is dead, and I was like, no, it's not. But it is now
Right,
because
here's a
they're not making
question:
them anymore.
when did they stop making the Dreamcast?
Look, okay, just Dreamcast died a long time ago. You have to let it go.
The dream never died. But anyway, I know still people like but Vita is one of those things where it's going to be around for a bit longer. It's just they've stopped the hardware. It's gonna disappear. But I'm more surprised by the fact that PlayStation's gone. We have no plans for any portable hardware at the moment because I kind of thought they would look at the Switch and be like, maybe there's a successor we could do. Maybe there's something we could do portable.
I think to make a successor to the Vita that's actually going to sell as well as PlayStation wants it to sell
Mhm.
versus the Switch, they'd have to make the PS5 a hybrid portable home console, and they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Switch is one thing, but could you imagine a console capable of running Spider Man
Yeah.
being portable? Like, nah.
This you kind of make it sound like PlayStation's got a choice. It's like we either like lose out in the handheld market to Nintendo, or we lose out to Microsoft on a home console.
No, I mean, they're going to beat Microsoft in their home console. That's not in doubt, but I mean, well, anything can happen. But as things stand right now, you know, they're winning.
Yeah,
My headphone port
massively.
is fucking shit. Well, I just jam this in the hole and wiggle it around a bit. Why doesn't? Do you have anything more to say? You don't have anything more to say about the Vita, do you?
No, Vita, which I've never owned. I can't even remember what it looks like, and I've only heard stories about how it's dead for the last 3 years.
The Vita was amazing. Like some of the games that came out on it were fantastic. I used to love playing indie games on it. And then it became a JRPG machine, or essentially a Japanese game machine for a while because it was only really still alive in Japan. So you were only really getting Japanese games for it, and then they've stopped making it. Anyway, pour one out for the PlayStation Vita. It had a troubled life, but it shone brightly. Yeah, I don't actually have a drink.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be fitting if I poured one out in my PlayStation glass, but
yeah.
I'm going to switch the order of a couple of these stories because
Yeah.
speaking of Sony, they have announced the £90 PlayStation Classic. What's the
Indeed.
PlayStation Classic? It's a mini console that plays retro games. Which retro games? Well, we don't know quite yet. We know Final Fantasy VII,
Yeah.
Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. But there's going to be another 15 games that are going to be on that console. It's coming out on December 3rd. And it's weird that they announced a mini. I'm not like the mini retro console thing is a
Yeah.
big deal. It's not weird that they announced that. What's weird is they announced it without telling us all of the games that are going to be built into it.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you just tell us all of the games? Why?
Have you not finalized everything, Sony?
is this going to be a major disappointment and you're just trying to get the pre-orders in while you can? I mean, I know that the games are going to be different because this is Sony. The games that are built into it are going to be different in Japan versus in the West, or maybe even in Japan, North America, and Europe, because this is the way they do things. So naturally, the Japanese one will probably have the better games on it. But yeah, there's like 15 spots still available, and to be honest, I'm not feeling the 5 that were announced. Like Final Fantasy VII, I can play that on my PS4, on my PC, pretty soon on my Switch, on my Xbox.
Yeah. On your phone, probably?
Probably on my phone, I could probably play
I
it.
made this joke with my brother, and he did say, he's like, yeah, so you can put, there's quite a few Final Fantasy games you can play on your phone, so yeah.
Yeah, like they're just making a big deal about re-releasing almost all of the Final Fantasy games, like from that era, on everything. So if if they'd said Final Fantasy VIII, that might have made sense because then you would have been like, oh, maybe that's why it's not coming out on Switch and Xbox and everything else. But no, like for me, if they're going to entice me to buy one of these consoles, they should at least fill it with games that I can't get anymore. Like we talked about it personally off podcast, and I said like if Silent Hill and Bushido Blade end up on this thing, then I might consider getting it just because Silent Hill can't play it anymore. Also, the controllers are USB controllers. And PlayStation are having this big long conference about the newest firmware update they just put on their PlayStation. So if I'm going to hang a prediction on the fact that you're going to be able to use those controllers on the PlayStation 4. Seems sensible.
Yeah.
I didn't say all my predictions were out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I want to read? How much time have we burned? Okay. Keith? Valve and Ubisoft have been fined in France over refund policies.
Yeah.
Um,
It wouldn't be the first time that, like, they've been fined over the letter of the law in a country about a refund policy. Sorry, I'm talking about Steam here. I don't know about Ubisoft.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Steam have been fined all over the world, it seems. It's not really worth going into. It's all to do. It's legal things to do with the 14-day refund policies.
If I remember what I read correctly, Steam wasn't advertising, well, not advertising, but not explaining correctly the French version of the refunds correctly, and Ubisoft just has a no refunds policy. Which obviously France was like, no.
Bad Ubisoft.
Rolled up newspaper. Bad. Ubisoft.
You know, they are a French company.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure they are. But well, now you've said it, you've made me do the thing of they are, right?
Yeah.
Nope, that's just taking me to the Ubisoft Trials Rising page. Thanks, autofill. Thanks for nothing. Goddamn motherfucking. Yep, France.
Ubisoft French is a team of passionate.
Founded on the 12th of March 1986 in Carentois, France. And then it's quite funny because like it does Google Maps and it's like there's 2 Ubisoft things around the corner. Anyway, back to the news. I just thought it was worth noting. Not necessarily worth a massive conversation. Much like that. Keith, Steam is going to start moderating its discussions hub. Apparently it didn't do that before.
What I love about this, are you reading the whole story? Or?
I'm going to read it, yeah. Blah, 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 blah. In a blog post, Valve explained the company already moderated a wide range of content such as screenshots, artwork, guides, user profiles, community groups, and user reviews. But this is the first time Valve will look into moderating game discussions. Valve stated the reason for its previous reluctance to do this was because it didn't want to step on the toes of game developers that want to have their own style of communication with players and their own set of guidelines for behaviour. So how will this practice work? Firstly, any player can report a community discussion, thread, or post. This will then be sent to Valve's moderation team, who will decide whether to remove a post, issue a warning, or even a ban based on Steam's community guidelines. Developers can, however, choose to opt their community out of the moderation system. While this technically gives the developers greater choice, that's editorial. I don't want to read that. Someone else's opinion on the podcast. That would be weird. I'm not going to read the stuff about TF2. That was in this story over at Eurogamer. But you may reference it if that was what you were going to talk about.
I was going to go on about the opting out thing, because I'm sure there are I'm sure there's going to be like developers out there who opt out so that their player base can say whatever they like.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I know exactly what kind of developers are going to opt out of this. And I guess I'm not bothered. Like, okay, if all of these people, can't say man babies anymore. If all of these people want to just like fuck off to their own little corner of the internet, that's fine by me. As long as I don't have to fucking read about it.
That's how we got the talk.
Although I inevitably will, because they'll do something that will be newsworthy. That is how this works. Unlike my microphone right now.
I can hear you.
Oh no, it's just the headphone jack. Being a dick. Yeah, I guess it's about time. Since I didn't know they didn't do this in the first place. It explains why I'm constantly reading about toxicity and hatred and bigotry all over Steam's discussion pages, though.
Yeah. It's like this one's like moderation.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. There's probably a bunch of people right now decrying their free speech is being impinged upon because they can't say racist things in some fucking forum on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? I don't. But then I understand how free speech actually works. Keith, Twitch has been blocked in China.
Yeah.
Like
I
the whole
woke up
country.
with that this morning.
The whole country. Twitch became the third most popular app on the iOS App Store in China. The surge was reportedly driven by the presence of esports at the 2018 Asian Games, which weren't carried by state broadcaster CCTV, but were available on Twitch. That potential win for Twitch has turned sour, however, as Chinese authorities have responded by blocking Twitch outright. The website is no longer accessible in the country, and the app has been removed from the App Store. Wow.
What I find sad about this, the first thing that I thought about apart from figures,
China
is that Blizzard recently did a promo thing for Diva, which is I don't know South Korean, but they got streamers from all over the world on Twitch, and they gave them these things you earn drops by watching them, and it's supposed to bring the community together and stuff. And there were actually Chinese streamers on there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, if China's got its own version of it, then maybe those streamers could go to there, but
they'd be streaming in China and nowhere else.
Yeah.
Which is a big market. But
it's a big market. I mean, going back with podcasts or so, China is kind of cutting back on new games licenses.
Yeah. They're doing a whole thing. Keith, we're just a very quick one. Because there's a rumor going around that Netflix is in talks for a Diablo animated series. Castlevania was good.
Castlevania comes out very soon. Really looking forward to that. I don't know if it's the same team.
Now, I was going to be quick about this, but now I've got to read the damn thing.
I don't think it says.
It says who's doing it. Andrew Cosby, founder of comics publisher Boom Studios, tweeted on Wednesday that he's in talks to write the series in collaboration with Netflix and Activision Blizzard. While the tweet has since been deleted, likely because it was publicly referring to a project that has not been announced, Variety managed to catch and report on it. Judging by Crosby's pedigree as the writer of the new Hellboy reboot and Netflix's penchant for more adult animation, Castlevania included, the Diablo series would blah 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 blah. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Warren Ellis and Konami.
Another quick one. I hope. Nintendo Online subscription not required for Fortnite, which makes perfect sense. while they're dicking over all of their Splatoon 2 players with their online subscription. The biggest game in the world doesn't require a paywall. Shocker. At least Epic knows how to treat its fans. Because you just know that a condition for Fortnite to be on the Switch was you will not put this behind your paywall because it's not behind anyone else's paywall. Silence. Keith, Razer has announced a headset that won't mess up your head. Oh.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I'm just thinking if you've got long hair, it might actually.
I mean, I don't think it's possible that you can release a headset. Like, even these, right? Even these. Like, they're just earbuds. But, like, I have to mess my hair up to get them in my ears. Like, my ears are not accessible from where I am. So it's like, I don't know how you can make a headset that won't mess my hair up. But hey, there you go.
I mean, if you've just got spiked hair on top, then yes, it won't mess up your hair.
Yeah, of course, 100%. Although I did laugh because apparently the person who wrote this article for PC Gamer is a bald person, so I thought that was funny because they're writing about headset hair and they don't have any hair. Anyway, no input there. Because it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Keith, you missed this. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Mario Kart and Toad trend worldwide on Twitter following Trump penis comparison. My site is recovered from reading this. Nintendo fans were left shocked and upset at the astonishing disclosure from adult film star Stormy Daniels that US President Donald Trump's penis looks like Mario character Toad. In a salacious excerpt from our upcoming book Full Disclosure, published this month, published by The Guardian, Daniels described the leader of the free world's manhood thus, quote, "He knows he has an unusual penis. It has a huge mushroom head, like a toadstool. I lay there, annoyed that I was getting fucked by a guy with Yeti pubes and a dick that looked like that mushroom character in Mario Kart." And then Twitter did what Twitter does, and both Mario Kart and Toad trended online. And childhoods were ruined. Yeah.
On the flip side, we now have Bowser. So, things are roundabout.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool. I've been retweeting fan art all day.
Yeah. Well, like, we saw it when you were here, and then, like, by the time you got home, someone had actually managed, like, to do, like, proper, like, fan art of Bowser.
It's Bowser, as in Peachette, or Peacher, depending on, like, which way around you want to do it. It's so weird. Like, who would have thought, like, this random little bit in New Super Mario Bros. U for Switch, where it's like Peach, like, it's Toadette puts the crown on and eats the mushroom and becomes Peachette. Mm-hmm. And it's just exploded. Yeah. Like, there's all over the place. But then it was a comic that went viral, the one that we looked at, where
Bowser and Mario
both get rejected by Peach, and then he's got the crown, and he puts his hand on his back, and then Bowser.
There's a picture of Peach and Luigi trying to play tennis, and then Mario and
Bowser walk past. I love it.
And Luigi in the background, like he hasn't got over that whole being killed yet.
I know, right? Like, Luigi's a ghost, right? So, like, how is he even playing tennis? I love it. Yeah. Much more than what happened to Toad. Yeah. It's a weird way to announce Captain Toad Treasure Tracker 2, though. Do you think Nintendo have something to say about this book?
I think they're just kind of staring at it bizarrely.
Well, actually, no. Actually, I said, do I think that did you obviously didn't see anything, so you missed Nintendo of America's tweet. which was just like, you know that thing you do on
Oh,
Twitter,
the dot's
the
going
dots
down.
going down, and then it goes to the picture of Toad, just like that, like peeking out
I
from the
saw
side of the
that, but I
thing.
didn't get what it was about, and I was like, "Is this a launch announcement?" And I
No,
just kind of
I
ignored
mean, well, it's a launch announcement, but not that kind of launch. Um, but we're not going to end on Trump's dick. We're going to end on something a bit better. Nintendo grants dying fans wish to play Smash Brothers Ultimate early. I just caught this last night, but there was a campaign going around social media to get terminal patients to get Nintendo to let a terminal patient play Smash Bros. Ultimate, which obviously isn't out until December 7th. And there was a tweet last night, which is basically says, "We did it, guys. Today, 2 Nintendo reps came down with the E3 demo of Smash Ultimate, and I got to play it for 3 hours with a local friend, my brother, and my mom. I got pictures incoming, but still, like, holy shit, thanks to everyone who did this for me. You're all the real champ." I just want to end on a nice story. I had
Yeah, it's like
counterbalance.
make a wish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a kind of like a make a wish thing. It's just cool. Like it just, I mean, it sucks because obviously somebody's dying, but it's cool that Nintendo went out of their way to let them play Smash when they wanted to play Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a much better place to end a podcast on. Yeah, I've killed Keith's brain.
No, I just like went on the Twitter for a second, and yeah, it's still going
Bowser.
with Bowser.
Holy shit! Although the red hair does make a lot more sense because you know
Yeah.
Bowser has red hair, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I did put a tweet out earlier that was my Twitter account is now a Bowser fan page,
Yeah.
so you know, bring him on.
Yeah.
We should have talked
I
about this. If we talked about this at the very beginning of the podcast, I could have made it the lead story, and then I could have had a Bowser thumbnail. But we can't because I didn't. So yeah.
I'm just waiting for Jessica Negri to find out about this and do a cosplay of it, because this is exactly the sort of stupid insanity that she does.
And hell, I cosplay the shit out of it.
It's like a Peach outfit with like a Ninja Turtle thing on the back end.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. That is an interesting one though that you've sent me. That is the lewdest one I've seen.
There are worse.
Oh, it's already on Rule 35. I've got no doubt it's already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No, what I mean
already.
is, I went under that. I follow some Asian. Well, I follow a lot of artists, both like literature, voice, and painting. And I actually clicked the wrong one to send you, but that was in like a bunch of just bad stuff. It's only when you made the remark about red hair, I was like, wait, that is the wrong tweet.
Okay, that's going to do it for episode 128 of the Words About Gamescast. Me and Keith are off to go look at more Bowsette fan art. I've got a stream, but maybe I'll just stream it. It'll be the weirdest stream I've ever done. No, I've got a horror game to play. So, thank you for joining me, Keith. All that's left says bye, I guess. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.